Good evening. Welcome to the Cape Charles Town Council regular meeting, April the 21st, 2022. Can I get a roll call?
Buckholz present.
Holloway present.
Bennett present.
O'Brien present.
Grossman present.
Fulmer present.
Let it be known we've established a quorum. Can I get everyone to rise for a moment of silence and the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Item 3, recognition of visitors, presentations, and recognitions. Up first, A, Tree City USA presentation, Mr. Phil Gecky.
Good evening. My name is Phil Getkin, and I live at 602 Jefferson Avenue here in Cape Charles, and I'm glad to be here to represent the Tree Advisory Board tonight to make this presentation to the town. For some of you that may or may not know what the Tree Advisory Board is, we're a group that was formed a couple of years ago to promote and support the health and safety of the town's tree canopy. We advise the town staff regarding selection, preservation, protection, and management of the town's streets. And we also provide advice and assistance to town residents regarding tree questions and issues. And we generally stay pretty busy doing that. The town, with all the construction and stuff, we've gotten a lot of requests for input on those things. Some other things we've been doing, we've been organizing some tree pruning projects around town. One of them is on Washington Avenue, the new willow oaks that are put there when the trail was put in. There's 40 willow oaks over there, and we've been pruning those on a regular basis. Another aspect of the trail on Peach, where the trail was put in over there, 15 trident maples were put in there, and we have been keeping those pruned as well. They were really getting out a little bit out of control. And here recently, we pruned all, you may have seen some activity on Stone Road. We pruned
Yeah.
Yes.
I beeped.
39, there's 139 crepe myrtles on Stone Road from Route 13 to the Cape Charles. So we had the help of the Tree Advisory Board, the Rotary Club, the Master Gardeners, and citizens at large. And so I'd like to thank all those people for doing that. And also, Public Works assisted us. You know, we just went out there and made a big mess, and they went out and cleaned it up after. They also helped with some safety equipment and some vests to make sure that we didn't get killed while we're out there. So, but the primary reason that I'm here tonight is to, again, let you know, announce that Cape Charles has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the Arbor Day Foundation. And I just wanted to read a couple sentences. The Arbor Day Foundation, the executive director, sent a letter to the town of Cape Charles telling us that we have been recognized as a tree city. And it says, on behalf of the Arbor Day Foundation, I congratulate Cape Charles on earning recognition as a 2021 Tree City USA. We are so thrilled that Cape Charles takes pride in creating a community that places unique value on the planting and caring of trees. And also they put out a press release, and I'll just, one little paragraph there. Cape Charles achieved Tree City USA recognition by meeting the program's 4 requirements. Forming a tree board, which we've done, creating a tree care ordinance, which we have in place, and having an annual community forestry budget of at least $2 per capita. So based on 1,000 residents, we need to spend $2,000. Essentially, we don't really have a budget in town for tree work. John and his people do tree work periodically, and the Tree Advisory Board has organized volunteers, and we get credit for that. At a rate of $28.05 an hour, so we don't have any trouble meeting our requirements there. And the last thing we have to do is have an Arbor Day Observance and Proclamation. The Tree City USA program is sponsored by the Arbor Day year. It'll be held on April 30th from 9 to 12 at Strawberry Plaza. And it's going to be in collaboration with the Tree Advisory Board, the Eastern Shore Soil and Water Conservation District, and the Eastern Shore Virginia Master Gardeners. There'll be activities for adults and kids, and we'll be giving away free native tree and shrubs, seedlings, and also free native perennials and native seeds. So if you need to have a few areas in your yard where you need to plant stuff, come by on April 30th, and hopefully we can fix you up. So it's going to be a great event, and I hope everyone can make it. That's on April 30th from 9 to 12. So this is our sign that the Arbor Day Foundation has presented to town. And so we've already got one at the town entrance. So this is our second sign. This will be the last one we get. We're not going to be signs all over the place, but our intentions here, we've talked to Central Park, and they are willing and interested in having it, since they've done so many tree plantings there, just to have it at the entrance to the park. So that's our plan there, unless there's an objection to that, and I'll work with John Lockwood and people to make sure we're not digging into any public utilities or anything over there. So that's the presentation on the Arbor Day Foundation. Should I just go ahead and do the new root presentation as well as the next on the agenda?
I have a question slash
Okay.
favor from the tree board.
Okay.
So there's one tree in town that I'm particularly fond of that died and it's been replanted. It's the Melvin Dudley tree. Don't let that die. You know which tree?
Melvin Dudley tree.
So
Where
it's
is
at
that
the north entrance of the park.
Okay.
It's on the other side. If you're going down Page Street, it's across the park. It's on
It's
the
the
entrance.
one we light.
It's right by the
illumination.
playground.
That one,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
in
all
his
right.
honor.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that one stays alive.
Yeah.
No pressure.
I think it got bagworms or something the last time, so I
Yeah.
just, maybe somebody keep eye on it. Okay, I'm done.
So I'm going to put my other hat on. I'm now going to bring you up to date on the New Roots Youth Garden. I'm the president of the New Roots Youth Garden in Cape Charles. And for some people that may have not been around for a while, just give you a little background. I know that you got a lot of resolutions and presentations, so I'll try to make this short. But New Roots Youth Garden was originally established in 2010, as Tammy well knows, as a partnership between the New Roots Force and the town. And now in its 13th year, it is still a partnership between the New Roots Board and the town. And in my opinion, the garden is still flourishing. Over the last 13 years, the garden has evolved, and it continues to evolve, and we really look forward to a successful year this year. And I just wanted to express my thanks to the town, Public Works, for all the assistance that we do get at New Roots. That's town property, and without that, we would have a lot of difficulty in having a garden. And in addition to the town, also, I'd like to thank all the citizens of the town, because whenever there's a need at New Roots, the town comes together and we generally get whatever we need to do, what we need to do. So the garden originally consisted of only 8 raised beds. So over the last couple of years, I think more is better. So we have added 6 new raised beds. We added a 3 Sisters garden. If you don't know what that is, we'll let you know. Come to the garden. We have a pumpkin patch. We have a berry patch. We're working on fruit trees. We have now asparagus patch. And if you want to sneak over to the garden, there may be a couple. They got to be picked every day, and we're not there every day. want all the elementary school kids coming into that garden. During the summer, I don't know if any of you are familiar, but we have an open garden program. It used to be all 3 seasons, but now it'll just be the summer where any kid who's in town that wants to come to the garden is free to come, no charge. So that's sort of what's going on with the garden right now. I just wanted to make an advertisement for something that really proves what a small town Cape Charles is, what a great small town it is. But on May 1st, the day after Arbor Day, on Sunday, May 1st, from 2 to 3:30, we're going to have our annual Blessing of the Worms. So, you know you're in a small town when one of the big things that's happening is the blessing of the worms. But it's always fun. And unfortunately, because of COVID, we haven't had it for a couple of years. But we are going to have it this year. We're going to probably low-key it a little bit. But it's just another step in trying to jumpstart the garden and get things going again. So, anybody that can make it on May 1st to Blessing of the Worms, it's a big time. You can handle some worms and put them in the ground. And
Put them on my fish hook.
not put them on your fish hook. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Phil, thanks. Okay, item C, Building Safety Month Proclamation. Proclamation 20220421A, Building Safety Month, May 2022. Whereas the town of Cape Charles is committed to recognize that our growth and strength depends on the safety and essential role our homes, buildings, infrastructure play both in everyday life and when disasters strike. And whereas our confidence in the resilience of those in these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety, fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, plumbers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. And whereas these guardians are dedicated members of the International Code Council, a nonprofit that brings together local, state, territorial, tribal, and federal officials who are the experts in built environment to create and implement the highest quality codes to protect us in the buildings where we live, learn, work, play. And whereas these modern building codes include safeguards to protect the building from hazards such as hurricane, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildland fires, floods, and earthquakes. And whereas Safety for All, Building Codes in Action, the theme for Building Safety Month 2022, encourages us all to raise awareness about planning for safe and sustainable career opportunities in building safety, understanding disaster mitigation, energy conservation, and creating a safe and abundant water supply to all of our benefit. And whereas each year, in observance of Building Safety Month, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge these essential services provided to all of us by local and state building departments, fire prevention bureaus, and federal agencies in protecting lives and property. Now, therefore, the Cape Charles Town Council does hereby proclaim the month May 2022 Building Safety Month. Accordingly, citizens are encouraged to join the community in participation in Building Safety Month activities. Can I get a motion to approve the proclamation? If you're going to approve it, it's saying it's adopted. You got to adopt it.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the proclamation 2022-0421A.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Jay up here?
Probably get time to take off to do this.
Not ready? Thank you very much for all you and your department. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, stand by. All right. Next, National Public Works Week, Proclamation 2022-0421B, May the 15th through May the 21st, 2022. Ready and resilient. Whereas public works professionals focus on the infrastructure, facilities, and services of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the residents of the town of Cape Charles. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of our public work professionals who are managers and employers at the levels of government and our private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential to our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the town of Cape Charles to gain knowledge and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and the public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2022 marks the 62nd Annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association, now be it proclaimed that the town of Cape Charles Town Council does hereby designate the week of May the 15th through May the 21st, 2022 as National Public Works Week, and urges all citizens to join with the representatives of the American Public Works Association and the government agencies and activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public work professionals, managers, and employees, and to the recognition of substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. Can I get them?
I'll make a motion that we approve Proclamation 2022-0421B.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do they get this week off?
No.
No.
I tried, John.
No more discussion.
I'll give the dollar back to you.
All in favor?
Aye. Nice try.
Mr. Lockwood?
Probably one of his busiest weeks of the year. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Town of Cape Charles Proclamation 2022-0421C to recognize National Peace Officers Memorial and National Police Week 2022. To honor the services and sacrifices of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas in 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed a proclamation which designated May the 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which that date falls as Police Week. And whereas May the 15th, 2022 has been designated as National Police Officers Memorial Day, and May the 15th through May the 21st, 2022 as a National Police Week. And whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving our communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Town of Cape Charles Police Department. And whereas the members of the Cape Charles Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of the Town of Cape Charles and provide vital public services. And whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 22,600 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty. And whereas the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund will host their 34th Candlelight Vigil on May the 13th, 2022 at 8 p.m. to memorialize those in sacrifice for those communities now. Therefore, be it proclaimed that the Cape Charles Town Council formally designates May the 15th, 2022 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all of those fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff. Be it further proclaimed that the Cape Charles Town Council formally designates May the 15th through May the 21st, 2022 as Police Week in the town of Cape Charles. It publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and the communities across our nation. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve Proclamation 2022-0421C.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? I want to say, you live in one of the safest towns in the country, and it's because of these guys. I can leave my truck open, I can leave my doors unlocked. You don't have to worry about it 9 times out of 10. They keep it out. So thank you very much, Chief, and thank your staff. Okay. Public comments. I'm glad somebody else gets to speak besides me.
You're done, right?
Need any water?
I'm sure everybody else is too.
Sam Jones.
Mr. Mayor, members of the town council, and town manager, thanks for the opportunity to speak and for the service that you provide to our community. My name is Sam Jones, and my wife Julie and I live at 538 Monroe Avenue. As you consider options to improve and expand town facilities, leaving the library in its current location is a critical element. The ability of families to walk to the library promotes its active use and helps promote literacy for our young people. My wife Julie and I look forward to bringing our grandson Oliver to the library. I don't know about Oliver. The council has also heard about the need for a basketball facility in town, and that's come up several times during your discussion. As you're considering moving many town functions to a new location, one option is to co-locate the basketball facility at that location, since it will already be paved, will already have lighting, and already would have parking. Finally, just a general caution about selling town assets. They will never come back to you, and the money can only be spent once. Again, thank you for taking the time to listen to these comments.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
He's the only one that has signed up to speak, but I do have 2 that were submitted by email.
Okay.
The first one is from Susan Berger at 550 Madison Avenue. It says, I was just sitting out on my front porch and witnessed a man in a pickup truck
Thank you, Ms. Libby. Okay, item 5, consent agenda. Within the consent agenda, it's the approval of the agenda format, approval of the minutes, and approval of the February 28, 2022 financial report. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Item 6, unfinished business, none. Item 7, new business, town facility options. I guess this is you, Mr. Hosey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as you know, we held our work session on this topic a few weeks ago and went through all the details of a number of options that was looked at by our consultant. And during that discussion, an option 5 was developed, and I was asked to bring these options back for formal consideration. And we had the time to actually sit down and put some numbers to it this time. As I mentioned during the work session, we had gotten some rough construction estimates just hours before that work session, so we really didn't have time to develop anything in detail. So we put that together for you and listed out what those 5 options are, and we're somewhat surprised at the price tag. It came out to be a little bit more than what we discussed during our work session. And that's for a number of reasons, because the different types of construction cost different amounts. So I think it would cost more to renovate the 3rd floor of the library than to renovate Town Hall, that sort of a thing. It costs less to renovate than to build new, that sort of thing. So we took that into account and applied each amount per square foot for the type of construction that we would be dealing with. Also not discussed during our work session was the other costs involved, which is design, engineering, construction management, contingency, that sort of a thing. Very, very rough order of magnitude numbers, but I thought to be complete, we should put some placeholders in there so you and the public have an understanding of what the total cost of these projects could be. Also, pulled the assessment values for all of the town assets from the county. We did not mess with these at all. These are straight from the county. So we did not try to alter them up or down based on our opinion. This is just what the current assessed values are. I personally think that some of them may not be market correct, but I did not put my opinion into it. This is just what the county has. Okay, so based on the options we presented at the work session of which properties would be divested, we then plowed that into the cost estimates as well, and then cranked out the final number. You'll notice that the lots on Randolph were segregated. They were set out separately, and the reason for that was I asked Bob Panic to do that for me because I just wanted to have the discussion about perhaps retaining those. To do a number of these options, we would divest ourselves of almost all property. The only property we would have left would be right there at Fig and Randolph. And as the speaker said, once it's gone, it's gone. And who knows what the town might need 10, 15, 20 years from now. So to the extent we could afford it, I thought it was worth separating those out just so you could see what it would mean to retain those lots for future flexibility. That's the only reason those are separated out that way.
And are the library paved lots just that area in the behind?
Yes, yeah, I didn't realize that until we looked at it. There's actually, the library actually sits on 4 lots.
Oh.
Yes, and so,
Oh, I see.
so like the driveway behind it is actually kind of a separate lot. So there's actually 6 lots there when you consider that where the tree is and the grass,
Yeah.
and then behind the library and the library. So
Thank you.
so with that, you can see the cost estimates surprised me that option 5 came out as high as it did, and mostly because it was mostly new construction, which was the highest cost per square foot of the options available. During the work, at the time of the work session, staff recommended option 1. During the work session, as we discussed the efficiencies of having everything together in an option 5, I agreed that operationally, I thought that was a very good idea as well. However, after cranking the numbers and seeing the difference in price, I couldn't, in good faith, recommend option 5. Although, should you choose to do it, I still support the concept. The operations of it would work. But option 5 is $1 million more than option 1, and at this level of detail. So with that, administration's back to recommending option 1. And I appreciate your discussion and ready to answer your questions.
Mr. Mayor, I had a question. Not that I'm for selling the library, that is off the book. But we talked during a work session that we would sell the library and lease back. Is that what you mean when you say this
Yes.
third floor sale?
Yes, yes, we would buy back. So, yeah,
Buy back the first?
If it's a condo.
we would condoize the building, and basically, we would sell off the building as a condo unit, and we would buy back the first floor. So that we would own the library, the first floor, and a developer would own the rest of it. In our numbers, what we projected here, just for purposes of this high-level discussion, we only accounted for half the appraised value of the library in these numbers. So if it was worth, round numbers, if it was worth $1 million, I only gave us credit for $500,000 if we sell, because we're only selling part of the building.
Once a decision is made on which option, what happens next?
So we're already under contract with this consultant. They would then provide a formal proposal for what the design cost would be. What I put in here is just a rough estimate. We're looking at probably 8, maybe 9 months from the time we execute a contract until I got construction-ready bid documents. So that buys us time. So my recommendation would be, and we'll cover this more when we get into the budget work sessions, when we get to the capital plan, that once you pick an option, we figure out during the budget work session how to fund the design phase of it. That buys us a year to put together a financing plan of how much of it can we pay cash for, how much of it can we bond for, what can we get grants for. It buys us time to do that. And like I said, it'll take us the best part of a year to get through the design anyway.
So either or, option 1 or option 5, we gotta borrow money. And option 1 or option 5, council has to make a decision, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just,
Well-
based from our conversation, on our debt, what council has approved for our debt ceiling to be. Either one of those is gonna put us over our debt ceiling if we borrow money, correct?
Well, okay, yes, good point. Let me clarify that. So what the mayor's referring to is last year the council set, and it's just a local policy that you set and you can change. 8% of our core revenues is what you didn't want to spend any more on debt service than 8% of our core revenues, okay? Based on the current draft budget that I'm working on right now, we're at about 6.5%, 6.75% of that 8. So I did ask Debbie to do a little very, very rough idea of what does that mean? If we went to the full 8%, how much more debt could we incur? I'm guessing maybe around $1 million. I mean, we might be able to get about another $1 million by hitting that 8%. Okay. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking about general fund debt only. This does not include the debt in the utilities. Okay. Utility debt is extra. So I'm talking about just general fund debt. So yes, we would presumably have, unless you wanted to raise your debt ceiling, we would have about $1 million worth of debt available, and then we would have to either seek other cash that we might be able to develop, or and obviously we would be seeking grants.
Well, how many houses we got coming on tax rolls next year? I mean, from a year from now, we're going to be increasing the amount of tax revenue coming in.
Well, you're considering that in the current budget, are you?
I am. Yeah.
How many homes? I mean, considering we got, I don't know, more than, but the number is going to be higher than, I guess, our average number that we had put in there. What was our average?
Any number's higher than our
35
average.
or 40? Because at the number they're going now, I mean, it's way over that number.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers with me. This is more of a work session discussion, I think. But what we're putting in the budget is actual new construction that we know of. That's what's going in the budget right now. And then for planning purposes, what I'll throw out there is what we're planning when we do our projections for like the utility sale analysis. We were programming in 34 a year.
That's average over the.
Right. So it'll be higher upfront, it'll be less as we go further, but for planning purposes, that's probably not a bad number.
Yeah, but just I was thinking the percentage is gonna change a little bit. It'll probably be a little bit higher, I mean, number-wise, from that million, roughly.
Well, yeah, as our revenue goes up, so does that percentage, but then so does the cost of living, right? So does my staff salaries go up. Yeah, everything goes up, it's a whole nother discussion talking about the financing. So that's a major discussion point. Right now, I just want to know if you're comfortable making a decision on which one of these to focus on to take it to the next step.
So when we did our work session, there was a breakdown of square footage,
Mhm.
kind of needs for different things. I don't remember some of that, so some of this I know is repeat question. My hesitation with option one initially and still is we'll have enough space, yes, for the municipal building, but do we have the extra space we might need?
Room for growth?
Room for growth.
There was some, but
And I can't remember what that is. And did it include, like a meeting space, kind of, those types of things that I think we're desperately lacking in our current municipal building,
yes. To answer your question, yes, there was some meeting space in there. The square footage program requirement was, I'll round it off to 4,800 square feet, and the space available in the municipal building is just shy of 6,000.
John, where do the people that are in the areas being renovated, where are they displaced to during renovation?
Well, it depends on which option you choose. Option 5 is easy. Option 5 is you build a new building, we move into it, and we sell it.
Right.
That's the easiest one, right? If you chose option 1, it gets a little more complicated. Option 1 would be, option 1 involves building a new building for the police and council chambers. So you would do that first. You would build a new building first. Then the police would move over there. That vacates the whole first floor of town hall. Okay, so then you renovate the first floor of town hall. Then second floor moves to the first floor, you renovate the second floor. Then you spread back out. So it's a lot of jumping around, but
Is that included in this pricing?
no, this is straight construction cost,
Yeah.
but there was not, we did not include things like rental trailers or things like that because we wouldn't really incur those costs. There would be some incremental cost of moving people around, but it's not going to be huge.
Let me interject here. So you're always upstairs, and there's people downstairs banging and whacking and smacking.
I didn't say it was ideal, no.
So, and everything else,
Yeah.
and so
Well-
I
Let me, if I may, in spite of the cost, I think Town Hall needs to get out of that building. It's too old. We're going to spend $2.5 million, $3.5 million renovating it. It's just, I think it's throwing good money after bad,
And there's no
personally.
parking. There's no
Lipstick
parking.
on the pig. Right.
You still got a parking problem.
I mean,
That's true.
That's the parking with my.
and then to phase it like that is going to extend the construction period, makes it more expensive. I mean, these are back of the envelope numbers. But, when you start getting into phasing that kind of construction, the disruption to the office work is one thing, which is going to be hard enough to deal with. But extending construction periods is money. The longer it takes, the more it costs. Renovating an old building is difficult. I've done a lot of them, and,
Open up the walls. Surprise.
yeah, I mean, you look at the Cavalier Hotel for one. I mean, that wound up costing $1 million a room because of what they found when they opened it up. There's been no extensive studies done in that building that I'm aware of. But even still, I mean, if you get into a structural issue, which is what they did at the Cavalier, when you start opening up the building for renovation, then costs skyrocket then, because then you've got replacing structure in an existing building is difficult and expensive. So for me, I would totally recommend option 5, and then we just have to work hard to figure out how to do it. I can't fathom the thought of all of these people staying in that building, even if it's renovated.
Well, and putting all of that money and resource into something that's struggling as it exists, I just, it's lipstick on a pig.
And Mr. Vice Mayor, thank you for taking my random, by the way.
There's no sense going around the bush.
I started with the square footage piece.
In addition to us then, I mean, we're not attaching a value to dealing with the parking issues, then what Steve is proposing would also, if we needed additional space, we could add on to that building in the future. I would not be in favor of holding on to those lots a block from the beach because we might need them in 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm
You
inclined.
would not be in favor of holding on to the lots at the entrance?
Behind the library, no.
Oh, behind the library, I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
The Randolph
Oh.
place.
Yeah. So I'm inclined to agree with Steve because, I mean, we've seen it in the buildings just on Mason Avenue.
Yeah.
Once they start the renovation, oh, look,
Well,
very
we-
big
and
expenses
we
that
already
were
know
not
problems
anticipated.
with the building. You know what I mean? Like,
It's one thing, I mean, since we've been here, it's a leak here and a leak there and a leak here, and I'm sure when they rip it all out, they're gonna see like Steve said.
So, I like the way where the discussion's going. I agree with your rationale. I just couldn't get myself to the point of
I appreciate
recommending
you
that.
making the
But I do just want to make one clarification that prior to this analysis, we did have the buildings evaluated. Now it was not deconstructed, but we did have it evaluated, and they were considered structurally sound. All the systems are bad. We had a gutting and complete. But I just wanted to make that point. We did evaluate the buildings, and they are structurally sound. But I still,
And they are old.
but I still agree with what you're saying. So I just wanted to make the point.
So, is everybody in the, well, I guess, this is an action item. so-
This is an action item. I'd like you to make a motion to vote for one of the
Yeah,
options.
well, I guess we started the discussion before the, anyway, can I get a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I had one issue.
Hold on, you can't speak now, you're speaking in the beginning, sir. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion that we move forward with option 5 for the new municipal building.
I just have one more question. So what's the next step?
just one second. Second.
All right, now.
So what's the next step after this?
We will ask our consultant to give us a detailed proposal on what the design cost would be.
Okay.
And then I'll bring that back for you. You'll have to
Yep.
prove it. And then from there, they'll start the detailed design. And then we get into, then we'll have other work sessions, obviously, on the design and how we're going to piece things together. And, yeah, this is the very, very beginning of a long process.
But a new building realistically could possibly go quicker than redoing option 1.
I believe so, yeah. And again, it's not going to
If
be
you
a,
can get somebody to build it.
it's not going to be a very fancy building. It's going to be a basic steel building, as Councilman Fulmer said last time, similar to like the YMCA building. It would be that kind of a look and feel, probably.
Let's not make it that look and feel. I mean, I get that we can dress it up a little.
Yeah.
And it's going to be
That's
located
an ugly
over
building.
On the Cassat Parkway.
the folks that hear that Cassat Parkway.
Yeah, so yeah, just south of the Rosenwald School, in that newly subdivided parcel. And it is, what I like about that is that it's actually, people think of the historic district as being the only part of town, but actually, that parcel we're talking about is the geographic center of town. And it's easy access to anyone from Bay Creek. It's easy access for anyone from the historic district. We can make it accessible by golf cart, that sort of a thing.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Option 5 it is. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Made good points.
We'll march forward.
Okay, where we at? Oh, Ms. Rose, it's you again.
Couple quick things. One, I want to bring your attention to something. I'm not going to go into gross detail with it, but it's some exciting news. I've been sitting on it because it was premature to say anything publicly, but we have a potential of a serious workforce housing project coming to fruition.
I saw that in the report. I was like,
So we didn't want to say anything before because of market reasons, but a potential developer has property under contract now. So I can speak a little more freely about it. Councilman Grossman and I have both been working with this developer, helping them with the details that they need. His motivation appears to be very genuine and selfless. He's in it for the purpose of providing the need, no profit motive here, just to break even. We're talking about the property out next to the Keck Wells. So I've been spending a lot of time on this, and the reason I wanted to make you aware of it because it's on my list of 15 things to do, but it's further down, but this is a target of opportunity that I need to move up. So I just wanted you to know that I'm moving this one a little bit further up on the list because I need to strike while the iron's hot. So anyway, you'll be hearing more about this, but I just wanted to let you know that this is kind of exciting and it's a priority of ours.
I have one question if I could.
Mhm.
It's the parcel that's already has the one building on it, or is it
So,
the town
so
parcel?
that, no, not the town parcel. It's where that one building is it's one big lot and then 4 little lots. The 4 little lots are not part of this. That stays,
Yeah,
I don't
where
know
is
where
it?
the mystery
Yeah.
lot is.
That- So
We're in a car.
we were talking last year to run water and sewer, and
Yes.
on the way out of,
Yeah.
that building manual, and Bill
Yes,
Parr was here,
yes.
that area.
Oh, okay. See,
So-
I have no idea.
so if you go out the Cassette Park, so you got the Cassette Parkway, and you're heading over towards Stone Road, you're making that curve, okay? Right before then, if you go look south or to the right, there's two agricultural fields. The one furthest west is ours. That's what we call the Keck property. That's where our wells are that we're hoping to connect, okay? Immediately west of that is another large property that is in private hands, okay? That property has now come under contract with this developer. Now that property was subdivided with 4 small lots on the very, very south end for 4 fourplex units. Okay, those 4 fourplex units, those 4 lots remain with the old owner. Okay, the balance of the property is what we're talking about. That would potentially start this satisfying this need. So a lot more to go on this, but it's exciting news, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm working on that. I want to thank Councilman Grossman for all of his help on this too.
Wonderful.
Also, on my list of things to do, we're getting very close to crossing one off, and that is we're doing all this work on our zoning code and our comp plan and design guidelines, but we're also working on our regular code, just a regular code outside of zoning. And I'm getting very close to finishing that. So I've got some last comments in with Mike Sterling right now, and I'm hoping, I don't know if I'll get it done in time to bring to you in May, if not May, June. So we're getting really, so that's just bringing everything up to date with the state code and just cleaning up a lot of loose items there. So that's good to be able to start crossing things off the list.
Is that one of Bob's projects too?
No.
Lucky you then. Because Bob did it for a while.
No, we hired a consultant to do that.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob was tired of doing that.
And speaking of Mike Sterling, I don't know if any of you have heard, he called me 2 or 3 days ago. He would call me fairly excited. His firm is merging with another firm, Wood Rogers. So it's now Wood Rogers.
That's a lot of stuff.
Wood Rogers I can't say that. Van der Venter and Black, which will now make this one of the largest firms in Virginia. Now, Mike assures me that he is still going to dedicate his time to us. In fact, he said he was going to be stepping back from management a little bit to allow more time for his clients and his family. So it should be seamless to us as far as our support, but Mike now has a much deeper bench to go to if he needs help with something. So just want to let you know that will take effect on July 1.
Can they get us abbreviations? I can't say anything.
We'll
If I
just
gotta
say-
spit
we'll
that out
just say Mike
during the
Searle.
meeting.
Yeah, that's why, I just say the attorney or Mike, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see you say that, Van.
Yeah, I'll have to practice that. I'll have to practice that for 2 weeks before.
No, I want to hear you say it.
I also, I met with Main Street today and had a good meeting about talking about some short-term and long-term items downtown with regard to parking and restrooms. And they secured a grant to get us some more temporary restrooms while we get our permanent one done. And as part of that, which I'm sure none of you have concerns with, but as part of that, we also talked about the municipal parking lot there. We need to try to upgrade that, and one of the issues was we wanted to try to reverse the direction. And there's no reason why we can't do that sooner rather than later. And so if we're going to be developing signage for where restrooms are, this might be the time to do that. So unless there's an objection, we might move on that faster. Okay. And the last thing is that you'll see when the mayor, in a minute, the mayor is going to make announcements, and one of them is the joint public hearing with the Planning Commission. I just wanted to make sure you were aware that the Planning Commission has changed their procedures a little bit for public hearing, and where they give reports up front, so the public gets to hear what it is they're talking on first. Then so when you go to this joint public hearing, it's not going to be an in and out thing. It's going to take a little longer. I just want you to be prepared for that, so that I think it better serves the public, it better serves everybody to have that information presented first, and then the public will get the chance to speak. So just be prepared for that for the joint hearing.
There goes our hourly rate.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
That's all you have?
That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Fulmer, we'll start with you tonight.
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Grossman?
Yeah, a couple things. The Berkeley Group is reviewing county and town ordinances, and from talking to Charlie Kolakowski, we have provided information to them through you. And-
No, not that, I haven't.
Okay, I was told that was.
Recently? Recently? Or was this like a while ago?
He didn't give me a time frame as to when, but there should have been an interface between you and the Berkeley Group. And again, this was to review ordinances in the local ordinance areas to determine whether or not something can be done relative to affordable housing.
Who told you that?
I'll
Well, I know it. It's a grant that has been
I'm
given.
talking about, who told you that?
Charlie Kolakowski.
I'll check with Charlie.
Okay, all right, that's great. Myrtle Landing. Myrtle Landing LLC came to the Northampton County EDA and has been approved to float a bond through us for $10 million and change to renovate their facilities here. They're going to have to come to Cape Charles also with a resolution, so that's just a heads up that they will be submitting. McGuire Woods will be getting paperwork to us, and we'll have to pass the resolution here too, saying, hey, we have no problems with you proceeding with that, and that's I think the intent.
Is that the same group that did the Eastville one a couple of years ago?
You can't, I don't know, no, I don't know. The regional housing study is finally finished. It's got to go through ACMAC, Northampton PBC management for approval. So now that's kind of our marketing tool for the Eastern Shore. We need housing. Here's some specifics. Congresswoman Elaine Loria is holding a developers forum on May 9th. So again, we're coupling with the study and bringing people to the shore and saying, hey, there's a need here. Why don't you take a look at developing housing needs? So that's coming up. And the last thing I had was, obviously you all know that Katie Nunes is going through some tough times. I just asked for your thoughts with her tomorrow. She's going to have a service at the St. Charles Catholic Church. And just bear that in mind for tomorrow. That's all I have.
I don't have anything. Just trying to let you rest a little bit.
Rush your voice a little bit.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I'm sorry Phil left, but the work that that group did out on Stone Road is unbelievably,
Here, yeah.
it's just
Great, yeah.
fantastic.
Even
So
Cape Charles Day.
thanks again.
I mean, yeah, even Cape Charles Day. I
We
mean,
didn't finish, by the way. There's another
There's
15
another
trees
15,
or whatever
yeah.
to go. It's just
They
like
got as far as they could
never
in
ending
one day.
Saturdays, yeah.
Sucker day.
Sucker day.
Sucker day. Who wants to volunteer for sucker day?
What do you do on your free time, Paul?
That's it.
Ms. Holly?
Just wanted to remind everyone of the Love Run on Saturday, so hopefully, even if you're not, Love Run Walk, if you're not participating as a runner or a walker, come down and cheer people on. Starts at 10 o'clock, and Main Street's gonna have a band and food truck and stuff down there until probably 1 o'clock or so, so try to get down to support that. I think we have almost 150 participants.
Nice.
Which, you know, is a big increase from when we did it in 2019, so it's a good kickoff, and we appreciate everybody's support, the town support and everything doing that. Lots of good sponsors this year. I forgot to announce last time that I am finishing up my term as president on Main Street, and will serve as past president for another year, but we have wonderful new leadership. Andy's finishing his completely in July 1st. Bill Stram will be our new president, and Patsy Harris will be our vice president. So we're already working together to work out a seamless kind of transition, not going anywhere, but I think it's a healthy move for the organization and to move in that direction. John alluded to a little bit the restrooms. What our hope is that we've tapped in some extra grant money so that we can put 4 porta potties in that area, kind of near the train for the summer, to at least eliminate some of the excess kind of need and the pressure on the silver bullet and all of that kind of stuff. So just trying to gear up for the season. We had a wonderful Main Street Connect. We do that once a month. You guys are always welcome to attend. It's always the first Monday of every month. And we probably have 25 to 30 businesses participate each month. So we encourage everyone to fill in on that. And then what an exciting day Monday was for the $2.5 million check from Elena Luria for the Rails Trails project. It's just incredible that like shot in the arm is going to get that started so strongly. So that's it for me.
I don't have, I do not have anything tonight.
That's a hard act to follow.
Yeah. I've got a couple things. We did 3 proclamations tonight, and, you know, one was for building safety, and one was for public works, and of course our police officers. And I want to really say, appreciate the job that all 3 of them does, but it starts from the top. So thank you, Mr. Hosey, for the leadership provided to each of those departments. They make me proud every day I walk the streets, so thank you. And thank you, Chief and Jeb and everybody else. I've got a list of announcements here tonight, but the one thing I missed when setting the agenda is that we're missing an announcement. So I'm going to announce it anyway. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. is our 15th annual Blessing of the Fleet. It starts at 6. The ceremony starts at 6. Of course, there'll be live music playing afterwards, and everybody can behave.
Is it going to be blowing a gale because it
Nope,
normally is?
that's actually supposed to be pretty.
How about
Good.
that?
So it's like 65, sunlight. So
I'll be at the beach.
Huh?
I'll be at the beach.
So-
There'll be one less person, but not this day.
So anyway, I hope everybody can attend that. That's always one of my nearest and dearest events. May the 3rd, joint public hearing with the Planning Commission. Council members, it's at 6 p.m., not 6:30 p.m. I'll be the one show up late. May the 5th, Town Council work session, 6:30, probably budget. May the 12th, Town Council work session, 6:30, probably more budget.
It's all budget.
All right.
Budget.
May the 19th, Town Council regular meeting. I don't know if I'll be budget stuff in that too, but May the 26th, Town Council work session. All of those are 6:30 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all.